Good morning, Mauricio. How are you doing?
Fine, fine, Bob. How's everything with you?
Cold. We're buried in snow up here once again, but that's life. When you grow up here, you're used to it, and this is just a little more extreme winter than normally. So
Yes, yes.
yeah, but so first of all, I want to thank you for taking the time. I know you've been on a busy whirlwind of interviews the past couple of weeks or so.
It's been a like a hurricane,
Yeah.
like a
Well,
storm.
you stole my line. I was just going to say that you and or the WBC have been like in the eye of a hurricane for the past couple of weeks, but you seem to be managing it and weathering it okay. Um, if you don't mind, I'll start back at the convention in Bangkok in December. That's when we learned about the issues with Terrence Crawford and not agreeing to pay the adjusted sanctioning fee and then subsequently being stripped. And then we, fast forward to the beginning of February. Shakur fought Teofimo up at 140 pounds for the WBO belt, a different belt. I know you've kind of gone through this in other interviews, but there was a process by which he, needed to seek permission. I know you said he didn't follow, or his team didn't follow the protocol in terms of doing it in writing, but in good faith, you went ahead and discussed with the board and gave permission for that fight to go ahead with Lopez at 140.
Yes, we received a phone call last year requesting uh, Shakur Stevenson to fight for the WBO championship in a higher weight category. It was portrayed as a very prominent event for the WBC with a WBC presence, a WBC special belt for the fight, etc., etc. We agreed, uh, immediately asked for that to be confirmed in writing in order to do the process, which is only natural and normal. Uh, why we agreed? Because that's within the rules. The rules of the WBC and every organization have a clear statement that a champion of your organization engaging in any fight, whether it's a 10-round fight, a fight on another weight category, and wants to keep the championship, it has to abide by the WBC rules, and that includes sanction fees. It is not only has to do with medicals and sanction fees and life insurance and all these things that the WBC has whenever there's a fight. Um, I did everything possible on the phone, on WhatsApp, on email to prevent this matter from happening, to avoid a situation like this. And when it did not materialize, all we did was wish Shakur Stevenson great success, who is now in the super lightweight division, and to wish him success in his career in boxing, and maybe the paths will run in the future. And it just completely got out of hand. Uh, Many media members and the fans who heard this only ran with one side of the story, and that is very unfortunate. But we feel completely at ease. We are an honorable organization, and we did according to the rules. So there's no issue whatsoever.
Okay. So I know you've been saying that that's in the rules and it's in every organization's rules. And you do call it a sanctioning fee, even though it's not your title that is being contested at that time, or do you have a different name for that fee when it's fighting out of the weight class and out of your organization?
The way it is described, and I will be happy to send you the rule. It is accessible openly in the web page. It is whenever a champion is engaging in a fight, it will become a WBC special event. So the WBC rules are also included in the sanctioning of such event. Uh, we respect the other organizations and we do not interfere. That's another situation. but the fight itself becomes a WBC special event where the WBC rules apply in all terms.
Okay. So I think one of the things a lot of, fans are wondering, and even I think Shakur mentioned in his own way on social media, is it's in your rules, but what purpose does it serve, or why is that rule there to collect a sanctioning fee when it's not your title at stake? And I think Shakur's wording was something like, this has nothing to do with you all.
Well,
So
it has to do with, because he asked to remain champion. If he simply says, I'm going to go and fight in another, good luck, and then the championship in the lightweight division is free. I mean, he asked for it, and these are the rules, and they're in existence for decades.
Right.
David Benavidez, who is the light heavyweight champion of the WBC, is fighting in May against the WBO champion, or I'm not sure which, WBA cruiserweight champion. He already sent the request, and he's already cleared, and everything is perfect as it was in many other examples. So they know the rule, they know it exists, and this rule is not a WBC rule, it's in all organizations. If you are the champion and you're going into the ring as champion, there are rules to follow. It's like if you have I'm going to do a simple analogy. You are a ticket holder for, you like the Giants or whoever you like in football.
Pittsburgh.
Okay. You're a ticket holder for the season. It's like if you say, I'm a ticket holder for the season, and then I don't want to go to some games, and then I don't pay, but I don't allow anyone to sit in those seats. Those are the rules, and they have been in existence, and everybody knows them. I understand if fans do not know him. I could understand if journalists do not know him. They should, because when you're a reporter reporting on a sport, you should know the rules. But it is very unfortunate, and everything is being portrayed in a very nasty and negative way. I will not respond to the attacks and the accusations and the bad words used. And we did what we have done consistently, and it's under the rules.
Right. So that brings up an interesting point, because I think you said, that process is in place for if the champion wants to remain back at his original weight. In this case, if Shakur wanted to stay at lightweight. But if he decides afterwards, you know what, I'm more comfortable at this weight, I don't want to return, but he already paid the fee. So that's on him, that's his decision.
That's his decision, and he benefited by entering the ring as the WBC champion, champion against champion.
Mm-hmm.
He won the super featherweight championship. He lost it on the scale. He didn't make weight. We immediately put him to fight for the lightweight championship, which he won, and he defended it 3 times. He's one of the superstars of the sport, but it is the rules. It is not something that it's invented. We tried everything to prevent it, and I'm very sorry for what has happened. But I care for Shakur. I like him very much. I wish him the best. And there's absolutely nothing other than what they decided to do.
So you were actually at the entire show, because you had the vacant WBC featherweight title being contested on the undercard there. Did you cross paths with Shakur and or his team during the week, the weekend, weigh-ins, anything like that? And if so, at what point did you realize, we're going to have a problem here, or we have a problem?
I'm sure you received the WBC news.
Yeah.
On the January 26th, you can pull it up, and we have the status of each weight category. If you go to lightweight division, it says Shakur Stevenson petition to fight, and there are unresolved issues which the board may have to address.
Okay. So at that point, you knew something's in the air, perhaps.
Oh, way before, because we sent on January 6th, I sent an email involving Matchroom, who is a promoter of the event, and copied Sela. And Matchroom spoke to the management of Shakur. They told them, what is happening? What is this issue? They opted not to respond whatsoever.
So
Our
Matchroom didn't respond either.
huh?
Matchroom also didn't respond.
No, Matchroom was responsive, and we spoke, and they said, but it's a
Okay.
matter of the fighter.
My
We have
apologies.
nothing to do.
Okay.
And our legal counsel sent a last letter, which his management said, receive, I will respond by tomorrow at the latest. Never responded, nothing, zero.
Okay. So did you cross paths with Team Stevenson during the week at all in the garden at the,
No,
press conference, anything like that?
no.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if you, being there for, the vacant featherweight title, if that would have happened and how that was handled. But sounds like it was a moot point and you didn't see him. So now that title is technically vacant. You had a similar situation at super middleweight, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think during the convention, it was decided, after Crawford's belts being stripped, vacated, whatever you want to call it, that the interim champ, Christian Mbilli, I thought that he was going to have to actually have a fight to fight for the vacant title,
That
either
is
against.
correct. We ordered the fight Mbilli against Hamza Shiraz.
Okay.
That was ordered. We proceeded with the negotiation period, and Hamza Shiraz decided to go a different route, and that's how the WBC decided to award the world championship to Christian Mbilli.
So, what made you decide to go that route as opposed to replacing Hamza Shiraz with a different opponent?
Because it's not Mbili's fault. Mbilli fought in September, and he was accepted the WBC order to fight Shiraz. They negotiated for a period of time, and then Shiraz decided to go a different route, and we decided to name Mbilli the champion of the world.
Okay. Yeah, it does seem that in similar cases like that, where you have an interim champ, you or any other organization has an interim champ, and then the full champ, for whatever reason, vacates or whatever, rather than the interim champ fighting for the title, often they get elevated. So that's what I originally had thought would have been the process.
Well,
Anyway.
it is not because Hamza Shiraz fought a final elimination, so he was mandatory contender. So we did recognize his mandatory status. That's why we ordered the fight.
Okay.
He knocked out Berlanga in a final elimination bout, and that's why the board deemed appropriate to respect that status that Shiraz had.
Okay. So if you recall, you and I shared a couple of texts before the Shakur Teofimo fight regarding the lightweight status. There was Oshaki Foster and Fulton had, through Fulton not making weight, their fight for the WBC super featherweight title ended up being an interim lightweight title. But at the same time, there was already a match scheduled on the Ajit Kabayel Damien Kniba undercard in Germany for the interim title again at lightweight. And
the WBC had approved the interim title to take place in England. And when I was in Thailand, finishing the convention, I received a phone call at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. by the promoters pleading in order to save the fight that had been postponed 3 times already, in order to save the fight to allow and sanction the fight for the interim lightweight championship.
Right.
So we took the decision at that moment under those circumstances. At the end of the fight, Oshaki Foster we had a discussion. He agreed that he won the interim lightweight, but he would keep the super featherweight and keeps a certain rights in case he wants to fight in lightweight. So
Okay.
that way we respected the ruling that was made for the fight in England, which took place, Herrera and Nunez, and we just tried to do something that was for the betterment of the fighters who had trained a lot. Very unfortunate that Fulton did not make weight. That's a different story. And
Right.
but I take my responsibility was an emergency situation.
Was there not an option, as has been the case in other title fights, where one of the combatants doesn't make weight? You still fight for that title, but only the guy that made weight is eligible to win the title. Was that?
Absolutely. That was the option. And looking back, perhaps that should have been the case. But I believe there was an issue that if it was not for the lightweight title, the fight would not take place. That was the way I understood it. Um, it could have been that they fought for the super featherweight, and if Fulton won, the title is vacant. If
Right.
Foster won, he remains as champion. As I say, I took that decision on complicated circumstances, but at the end, I don't see that anything was harmful, and both fighters were very happy. Uh, Herrera, who won, and Oshaki Foster, who was here in Mexico City in January, is very, very happy and appreciative with the WBC actions.
Okay.
Bob, amigo, sorry to interrupt, but we gotta wrap up, please.
Okay.
Thank
Uh,
you so much.
So very quickly then, and I think you told me at that time, if Shakur elected to stay at super lightweight, which is now the case, you would have rather than Herrera be elevated to full WBC champ, that he would have to face Oshaki Foster if Foster decides he will come up to do that. Is that still the case, or what's the plan for lightweight?
Yes, it's a different story. Every case is different. Herrera just won an interim title in a contested fight, and I believe the best scenario is that Herrera fights Oshaki or somebody else for the title. We are administering this situation right now. We're talking to Queensberry, to Top Rank, to all the parties involved, and we will have a resolution, I believe, by next week.
Okay. Sounds good, Mauricio. Thank you for your time. I know these are trying times, and I'm sure, I know if you're anything like me, you're probably at times saying, "Dad, I need some advice."
Well,
do you ever
I
talk to
appreciate the opportunity to provide the side of the WBC. The WBC will never be popular. It is not a popularity contest that we are in. Everything is about the fighter and should always be about the fighter. But there are rules and regulations, and there's rule and order. And we simply must fight against the abuse of power, against anarchy, and against things that are not proper. And we will stand by honorability and justice.
All right, agreed. Mauricio, thank you very much for your time. Look forward to another opportunity down the road.
Thank you, Bobby. God bless. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.